What is up, everybody? Nick Lucia here. I am the one Luch, back at it with my NFL Week 3 picks and predictions. I will be using DraftKings and Fox Bet Sportsbook to show you my picks and predictions for Week 3. Now, this is not any gambling advice. I do not condone gambling. I just play for fun. These are just my insights on who I think is going to do good and which team I think is going to win this week. So starting off, we're going to go over the overview. I'm going to show you my top team stacks for DraftKings this week, my top value plays, my top tournament and cash plays, my top fades, and my boom or bust for the week. On Fox Sportsbook, we will be looking at my upset underdog, my solid 7 picks, my money play, and my top over-under plays. Starting off with DraftKings NFL Week 3, my top 3 stacks this week are Detroit at Arizona, Dallas at Seattle, and Cincinnati at Philadelphia. These are going to be high-scoring games, all 3 of them. All 3 are on the radar. I think Philly and Cincinnati is going to be your best bet if you're looking to get contrary off of those main 2 games that everyone is going to be playing. So for the Arizona and Detroit game, got Kyler Murray 6,800, Kenyon Drake 6,000, DeAndre Hopkins 7,900, and Andy Isabella 3,800. One of my value plays this week. Due to the injury to Christian Kirk, he has rolled out. So Andy Isabella already getting some targets. Got a few targets last week. He's going to bump that up this week. Hopefully getting you 4 to 5 targets and landing in the end zone for 3,800. Not bad. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, you got Matthew Stafford at 6,300, DeAndre Swift at 5,000, Marvin Jones Jr. at 5,800, and TJ Hawkinson 5,300. These are my plays this week for this team. DeAndre Swift, sneaky play there at 5,000, could go off this week against Arizona. We see the potential he has. It's just all about getting in that end zone. I know there is a few other running backs there with Kerryon Johnson and Adrian Peterson, but DeAndre Swift could have a breakout game this week. And I like the Marvin Jones Jr. play over Kenny Golladay coming in. I know Kenny Golladay is going to be highly owned coming back off that injury, but I think Marvin Jones has a breakout game here. He always does well when he's the number 2 receiver. Moving on to Dallas Cowboys at the Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a great game. I think Dak Prescott has a good game, but I do like the other side of the ball. I like Russell Wilson at 7,300, Chris Carson at 6,600, DK Metcalf 6,500, and Tyler Lockett at 6,400. If you're going with Russell Wilson, you want to pair him with DK and Tyler and maybe a few other targets there, maybe Olsen at tight end. But if you're going to go with the Cowboys, you got Dak Prescott at 7,200, Zeke at 8,300, Amari Cooper at 6,500, and CeeDee Lamb at 5,400. Those are my plays for Cowboys. You also got Dalton Schultz at tight end and Michael Gallup at receiver, but I'm fading those 2. I'm going with CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and a Dak stack. Run it back with Chris Carson and maybe Lockett. Or you can go the other way, Russ, DK, and Lockett, run it back with Zeke. That's going to be a highly owned stack, but going to pay off. Last game, this is the most valuable game, I think, of the week for value and a possible shootout potential. You got both teams at a must-win situation, both teams 0-2. You got Cincinnati Bengals with their rookie quarterback, Joe Burrow, at 6,200. You can pair him up with AJ Green, who had a lot of red zone targets. That's what we're looking for here. Red zone targets. You can't score if you're not getting those red zone targets. AJ Green also has big play potential for 6,000, and Tyler Boyd at 5,900. Go with Burrow, Green, and Boyd for a contrary stack and run it back with Miles Sanders and maybe Ertz at tight end. But you got Carson Wentz at 5,800, Miles Sanders at 6,400, Deshaun Jackson 5,200, and Zach Ertz at 5,100. Don't forget Dallas Goedert there at 4,900. But these are my top plays this week, my top stacks and my top plays this week. Moving on to some value plays. Leading off at receiver, we got Chase Claypool with Pittsburgh, averaging 12.3 fantasy points per game, only 3,700, seeing some targets, seeing that he can get in the end zone. Had a big play last week. I like Chase Claypool here as a possible tournament value play. Moving on to the quarterback, Justin Herbert of the LA Chargers, rookie, stepping in there. He got 26.2 fantasy points last game, only 5,900. You can pair him up with Keenan Allen. You can pair him up with Hunter Henry. You can pair him up with just Austin Eckler if you like. But I like this Chargers game going up against Carolina. I like Justin Herbert here to get contrary on the field. Going up to number 3, wide receiver, KJ Hamler, Denver Broncos, $3,000. KJ Hamler has 8.7 fantasy points per game. We saw him get a lot of targets last week. I can see that continuing with Sutton out. And this Denver Broncos team is going to be playing from behind, I believe. So I like this play at 3,000, KJ Hamler. Moving on to number 4, running back, Mike Davis for the Carolina Panthers, going up against the LA Chargers. I think the Panthers are going to rely heavily on the run here. Establish that run with Mike Davis. He also saw 8 targets out the backfield and 8 catches last week. Well, 8 targets out the backfield. He's averaging 7.8 fantasy points per game. Only $5,100 here. I can see him finding the end zone twice. This is a good play, good value spot for $5,100 at running back. Moving on to the value tight end this week, Logan Thomas, Washington, had a lot of targets the last 2 weeks, only 3,700, averaging 10.2 fantasy points per game. If he can get 8 receptions here and get in the end zone, this is going to be a smash play for 3,700. Moving on to the top tournament plays of the week. Quarterback, Kyler Murray, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, and Carson Wentz. These are going to be some top stacks. If you want to go here with Cam Newton instead of Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, I know Kyler Murray is going to be about 40-50% owned. He's going to be highly owned this week. And Russell Wilson as well. Maybe go with Cam and Matthew Stafford this week instead. At running back, we got Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake, Ezekiel Elliott, James Conner, and Jerick McKinnon. These are my running back plays of the week that has a high floor and a potential and a high ceiling. Good tournament plays because they're going to have that high floor in case they don't go off, but they also have a high ceiling. Jerick McKinnon, touchdown each of the last 2 weeks. I think he can get in the end zone. He will get in the end zone again this week, and maybe 2 times. Wide receiver, we got DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, and Calvin Ridley. If you want to go against the field here, go with Deontay Johnson. He is a target machine. He's big play potential, and this Steeler game is going underlooked here. Also, Calvin Ridley, if Julio Jones is out, Calvin Ridley will be the number 1, but I like Calvin better if Julio Jones stays in, banged up. Got Calvin Ridley in there. Could see 2 more touchdowns this week. Tight end, we got Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Zach Ertz, Evan Ingram, and Logan Thomas. I like Evan Ingram on here, but my favorite play is probably Darren Waller. They just love him. They're going to be feeding him. I think he is who they're going to look for this week. I think the Patriots will stop the run, and they're going to be forced to throw to Darren Waller. Moving on to the top cash locks of the week. Now, this is fantasy football, so there is no locks with injuries, but I would lock Jonathan Taylor, favored home running back, going up against the Jets. I think they're going to get a lead early, and they're just going to feed Jonathan Taylor the ball. Great play for 7,000. Moving on to Matt Ryan. I think he has a high floor and a possible high ceiling this week. He's going to get you 20 fantasy points, so it's a safe cash play. You can just play Matt Ryan by himself there. Moving on to receiver, we got DK Metcalf. I think also a high floor, 17 points in the last 2 games. He's going to get you 17 to 18 fantasy points. possibly over 20 this week. Good cash play. Johnny Smith at tight end. They just love Johnny Smith there. I think he's going to continue the work, continue to get the targets, and find himself in the end zone. Good cash play at tight end for value. Miles Sanders just getting the workload here in a game where they are going to need him both running the ball and catching out of the backfield. I love Miles Sanders here as my number one play of the week. Now my boom or bust game is this Rams-Bills game. I think either Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Devin Singletary is going to go off and have a monster game and could be the number one tournament winner of the week, or they are going to come out and face that tough Rams defense with Aaron Donald and many more on that defensive front, and I think they are going to stop them early, stop Josh Allen from getting a big run game. I think they stop the run early, force them to throw, force Josh Allen into some interceptions, and this could be the boom-bust game of the week. My top fades, Julio Jones, banged up. I think he's going to have another few reception game. He could go off, and I could be wrong, but I think he's only going to have a few receptions here, 2 or 3 receptions, 40 yards. Not find himself in the end zone, banged up this week. I like Deshaun. I do not like Deshaun Watson. I like Deshaun Watson, but not against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I think Deshaun Watson throws at least 1 interception, possibly 2 fumbles against this defense. Derrick Henry, I want to fade him this week. I think they are going to see more of a air game here against Minnesota. I think Minnesota can stop Derrick Henry. I don't think he's as good as he was last year. Something's just not clicking right now, and I think Derrick Henry is going to pick it up later in the season, but as of right now, I am fading Derrick Henry. Kenny Golladay, banged up, coming back, even saying he's banged up and not going to be 100%, so why would you play him if he's not 100%? I know a lot of people, he's over 10% owned. I will pass on Kenny Golladay this week. And Dion Lewis at New York, highly owned this week as a value play. But I don't see Dion Lewis. I love Dion Lewis because he went to Pitt. I am a Pitt fan, but I am fading Dion Lewis this week. Now, my Fox Bet Sportsbook solid 7 picks of the week. Tennessee Titans -3. I think they cover here against Minnesota. I think Tennessee does have a decent run game with Derrick Henry, but I see them scoring early and leading the whole game. They cover this 3 points. I say Tennessee wins by 6. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks against the Dallas Cowboys. I like Seattle here at home, -5.5. I think they win by 6 here. I don't think Dak's going to be able to lead his team to a victory. I think Seattle goes up early and stays up. Atlanta, -3.5 against Chicago. I think Atlanta covers here by 7 or more points. I think Atlanta is going to just win this game. I don't think Chicago's as good as they were last year, and I think Atlanta has the better offense, and their defense steps up this week. Philadelphia, number 4, Philadelphia, -4. Give me the Eagles over the Bengals. I think they win this game by 5 or 6 points. Give me Philadelphia over the Cincinnati Bengals. With the rookie quarterback, I think Philadelphia is just in a must-win situation here. Better coaching. I think Philadelphia wins this. Number 5, Pittsburgh Steelers -4.5 against the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans just come out and play like trash again, continuing the trend. Another tough matchup against the Pittsburgh defense. I think the Pittsburgh defense stops Deshaun Watson in his tracks, and the Pittsburgh cover here by 6. Pittsburgh by 6. Moving on to number 6, Tampa Bay -6 going up against Denver. Banged up Denver. Don't have Jeff Driscoll in there. I think Tampa Bay covers easily, possibly winning by 12 or 14 points here. Give me Tampa Bay going up against Jeff Driscoll and the Denver Broncos. Give me the GOAT, Tom Brady. Number 7, LA Chargers, final pick of my solid 7, going up against the Carolina Panthers without Christian McCaffrey. They just lost their main piece to that offense, the glue holding in that project. Give me the LA Chargers -6.5. Justin Herbert comes out here. I think he has a stellar game. They win by 7. Give me the Chargers 7. Now let's move on to my upset underdog of the week. Kansas City Chiefs +3.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Monday Night Football matchup. Everyone in America is going to be watching. Give me the Chiefs +3.5. I think they win or lose by 3, but I think they're going to win this one by 1 or 2 points. Give me the Chiefs. Now my money play of the week. The New Orleans Saints -3 going up against the Green Bay Packers. I think this Green Bay Packers finally met their matchup. New Orleans coming off the loss last week. I think they step it up this week and come out and smash the Green Bay Packers. My over-under plays of the week. Here's my 2. Houston, Pittsburgh, 46 points. Give me the over. Both of these teams high scoring. I think Pittsburgh wins this 28-22. Give me the Steelers. Give me the over. Moving on to the Jets and the Colts. 43.5 points. Give me the under. I don't think the Jets are even going to find the end zone this week. I think the Colts are going to go up early. They're just going to run. It's going to be a ground and pound. I don't think Phillip Rivers does too much in the air. I think this is a low scoring ground and pound game. That'll be all. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share. I'll be back next week with my results, and I'm going to switch it up a little bit next week. Let's just keep working. Let's just get this money. Let's just have fun. Let's just spread love. Peace.